The time is 3:51 and well, we are getting ready to head to Hamburg and then on to Bremen. We are only having one day in Hamburg, so let's make the most of it, but first we have to get there. So we have just arrived here at Altona and they're about to load cars on the other side, so if it's a bit noisy, that's why. But we have just been with this train. It is, a borrowed train. The DSB has borrowed from the Deutsche Bahn, and it is a fairly, okay. It is not comfortable, it is not the best. You have plenty of leg rooms and the toilet. I will give you a review right here. Well, no trip is complete without a new review. Let's look at this borrowed train. It's fairly small. I can just stand in here, there's just enough room. But this... okay. Just this one. No show. Fairly basic, they can do better. Don't have too long legs. There's simply not enough room for them. Fairly basic train, but it does the job. And with that review in mind, remember that this train is, well, it's a borrowed train. It is not going to be this the whole time. We are getting new trains next year, I believe. And, well, it only took us 5 hours to get from Slagelse here. It will also be 5 hours from Copenhagen, so we are only 5 hours from Copenhagen, and now we are going to explore Hamburg before we are headed off to Bremen, where our hotel is. So in and explore and see what you can do with one day in Hamburg. So we're at the first stop, the Miniature Wunderland. It is a great place. It is the world's largest model railroad, and I do recommend that you visit while you're in Hamburg. And well, I will have a full review link in the description. Check it out if you want to know more about what you can see, all the attractions up there, and why you should visit it. That will be in my full review, but I promise you, you will take a trip around the globe without taking a trip around the globe in there. One of the things you should absolutely do here in Hamburg is walk along the harbor. It is so great. And if you are, well, having a hard time walking, then right behind me is also the U3 or U-Bahn that goes along the harbor, and you have a great view of the harbor, which is right behind me. Furthermore, right behind me there's a building. It is the one domed building over there. This one is quite special because it has a special tunnel, and I will go over and see if it's open, but it doesn't look to be open from here, but I will just check it out. If it's open, I will tell you why it's so special. Hamburg's Old Elbe Tunnel, or officially St. Pauli's Elbe Tunnel, runs under the Elbe River, connecting St. Pauli Pier and the north side of the river to Steinwert in the port of Hamburg. It takes visitors on foot on a very unique kind of stroll underwater. The Old Elbe Tunnel was built to give the growing number of dock workers in Hamburg a more convenient and reliable way to cross the river in 1911. It was a technological innovation at the time of its creation, as both vehicles and pedestrians are carried down 80 feet, 24 meters, in specially designed lifts. And today it's a pedestrian tunnel, so you can walk down there, and it is definitely worth a visit. Just be mindful of the bicyclist which occupies the center of the tunnel, because, well, not all of them are equally considerate of pedestrians. There is this big monument in Hamburg. I would recommend that you visit it. I just ran into a bit of a problem. There's a fence, but it is of course the statue right behind me. It's a great big statue, and it is such a great monument. I would say go visit it for two reasons. One, I love big monuments, and this one is very big and special. Secondly, the view from that monument is so special. Unfortunately, I cannot show it to you today, so we'll be heading on, and soon we will be heading towards Bremen. While here in Hamburg, of course we have to look at a war memorial from a war long since forgotten, or at least most of us don't know it, really. But we know a lot about it. So this bombed church is from the Second World War. It was bombed in the Second World War. It's much older than that. And I'll be sure to link to some references so you can know more about it. But I do recommend that you, well, come by and give it a visit. Because, well, honor what has happened before, learn from our mistakes, all of that. And then it's actually quite impressive sight to be at. It is, well, invoking some feelings and some thoughts. So I do warmly recommend that you give it a look and check out this bombed out church here in Hamburg. So the final stretch, well, I ran out of battery on my phone and that's what I used to record. But rather, I needed my phone in order to be able to show the ticket. So I have learned from my mistake and I have gotten a little power from the hotel. But all in all, it was a great trip down here. It was 1 hour with a very packed regional train. So imagine just being able to find a seat and, well, we are 3 people, so we could just get 3 seats. And we have a lovely hotel down here. Now we are heading out to explore Bremen a little bit. So yeah, stick along and see what we find. Alright, so we head out for lunch, and what do we find? Whoa! A little city party, and it looks like this. So back at the hotel now, but we were headed out to Bremen, and Bremen is it's a lovely city. We were walking around trying to find something to eat, and it was here we find the old city, and it is certainly worth visiting. Walking around in Bremen is actually quite good, and we enjoyed it. We even saw a little too Christmassy decor in the middle of Bremen, so it is certainly worth walking around in these old streets. But we went up to a park. There was a couple of tents. It looked like nothing, and we found something to eat because we were out looking for something to eat. And as we ventured further in between those tents, there was some more music, and we ended up finding some sort of city party. And well, it actually can something, and it was quite interesting walking the city party. All types of people were there, and it is, well, it was interesting. And if some of you know what it is, then write it down in the comments, because I would like to know more about it. And if you want to see what our next day holds, then it will be right over here. And I promise you it's going to be a long train ride, and it's not going to be boring. And if it's not online when you watch this, well, it will be online soon, and YouTube will suggest something you might like.